Legend of War here, and today we're doing a rating your one-man Doomstack, playing as Taurox the Brass Bull. I guess it's a one-bull Doomstack. So this is the strongest Taurox the Brass Bull I've ever seen. And he's got, let's have a look over here, he's got 15,000 health, 15,473. He's got 83% ward save, and then he's got this banner over here that's providing extra physical resistance. Now it's pretty clear that he hasn't gotten the defeat traits from the physical resistance legendary lords that provided, like, for example, Archaon, Sigvold, Skulltaker, and Wurzag. But as long as he's not having his ward save reduced, then it's not that big of a deal. So as long as they don't have any other Trickster shards. So the equipment that he's got on, if we have a look here, it is the Trickster's Helm, the Sword of Cain, dominating, so maxed out, the Talisman of Preservation, and also the Horn of the First Beast. That's pretty good for providing extra melee defense there. But yeah, with 15,000 health, plus of course you've got Gore Feast as regeneration. Let's see how he'll do. Now, we don't want to go into Beastman ambush, or else we're only going to be fighting one army at a time. So we need to stay in raid stance, which means we'll be tired at the beginning of the battle. But anyway, let's just pick one in the middle, and we'll see how he performs. There's no way he's going to do as well as that Zhao Ming, because that one was... That's the strongest Doomstack I think you could ever make. But let's just see how Taurox does against 4 full stacks of Endgame Crisis Wood Elves, while he's also tired. So it'd be interesting to see here if Taurox uses up all of his regen cap, because obviously with Taurox he's not a spellcaster, so we can't equip the Chalice of Malfear or whatever to get that 500% extra. But in regard to comparing him to Zhao Ming only lost like 1,000 health total, if that, in that battle. The thing is, Taurox is also bigger than Zhao Ming, unless of course Zhao Ming goes in dragon form, which we didn't do. Anyway, let's just see how he performs. So really good combat stats here. Got that extra physical resistance. It applies once the battle begins. Also with Zhao Ming, I didn't actually make any decisions at all. But yeah, we'll just see how this goes. It's always fun to watch a one-man Doomstack just absolutely tear an enemy army to shreds. Of course, we've got the Nemesis Crown. Pretty much all one-man Doomstack submissions now, we're going to have it. And that's totally fine by me. Blood is turned off. No, I got it on. Okay, so we've got a lot of... the miss resistance doesn't matter because the ward save. But because he's a big boy, that is something that actually could be something of a threat to him. They almost got through all of his barrier there. So he had 100 barrier from the other Trickster's Helm. So that means his health augmentations is 109%, because it's obviously relative to the barrier. It does the same thing. 109% bonus on his health. So yeah, with the Nemesis Crown, you really want to make sure they're just piling up around you, so you get that that Mortal Ascension effect. We've also got another Mortal Ascension effect with the Banner of Madness, but that only applies once they're low in leadership. So I didn't check the battle difficulty. Yeah, difficulty modifier 8. So that will start applying pretty much when they're nearly dead anyway. Doesn't matter what our difficulty level's on, because we're unbreakable anyway. And then we just let them do their thing. Yeah, plus with Brass Body you get extra melee defense and ward save, so we're over 100% there at the moment, but it doesn't apply all the time. So we can use the Sword of Cain to possibly get this one here to land. It should, I think, still apply Rampage on them, even if they're in the air. I'm just not entirely sure about that. But it's just a spellcaster, nothing to be too concerned about. They're not going to be able to do anything. Funny thing about the Wood Elves is I've always said that they are probably, you know, of the AI factions, they have the best AI. See, whenever we go up against anyone else, they always just crowd up around our one-man Doomstack, but the Wood Elves are actually spreading out. They're still not going to win, I think, but it just makes it take longer for us to kill them. I've always felt that the AI for the Wood Elves was just smarter than the other factions. Like, not by a huge degree, but, you know, they're not all crowding around us just yet. We've also got this if we really want to waste their ammo a bit more. So, Way Watchers, how much damage are they doing? That's the Tunnel Guard. That's not a bad amount of damage. Yeah, considering he's got 90% resistance against it. Yeah, they wouldn't shoot if he was smaller. You know, I just sat there and said how smart you guys were, comparatively. Oh, are they doing that thing where they, like, pile up the same units? Oh, and look, they're sending their Way Watchers into melee. Like, I said they were a little bit smarter. I didn't say they were smart. Okay, relative to other factions. It's still really stupid. So just keeping an eye out for anything that looks like it could be somewhat of a threat to make it rampage. Because yeah, otherwise we don't really need this. The Nemesis Crown is doing all the real work. The whole point of this one here is just, I guess, the extra weapon strength when dealing with them. Oh, and of course the ward save. But I don't need this ability. I don't think. It's interesting that he's even got any balance of power there at all. Because normally when we do a one-man Doomstack and it's not legendary difficulty, it's pretty much all red. Yeah, based on the amount of damage we've done so far, I don't think there's anything that they can do to beat us. This is just too strong. Kind of crazy just how many just utterly invincible one-man Doomstacks there are in this game now. Like, there's always been a decent number of them, but now just about anyone can become incredibly powerful due to all the different things you can do to increase ward save, the Nemesis Crown, all those traits that you can get by, you know, Draeska's power and the Sister Swords getting extra melee attack and melee defense. The Grail, what's it called? The Grail Knight location, which I don't know if the Beastman can get that one, but that provides some extra ward save. Is that doing much damage to us? Didn't click on the right one. No, not really. Yeah, okay, they're kind of crowding around, just not the entirety of their army. I'm gonna put that down there and we'll see if it rampages. Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. Thing is, it doesn't last that long, so now that it's down, let's try to kill her quickly before she gets back up. Should only take like 2 hits, but he's got to actually connect. And you know, when you're in a big blob like this, telling him to target a specific enemy can be difficult. Slid back up, but at least we did some damage. Okay, now they're actually crowding all of their forces around here. It just It just took them a moment before they did it. 10 minutes into the battle. Alright, so is that all their reinforcements? Looks like they've just got one more tree man to come in and then that's it. So that means 20 of their units has already been wiped out. Yeah, sending infantry against someone that's got the Nemesis crown, just asking for death. You really do need single entities to be able to take them out because they're not heavily affected by the Mortar Ascension effect. It takes them a lot longer to kill these single entities. But that being said, with that kind of weapon strength and melee attack, there's no way that they actually stand a chance against him. If we have a look at the tree man, I mean, Taurox has got 15,000 health. 200 damage is like a paper cut. Probably less than that. Well, technically, it's made of wood, and wood isn't how you make paper. Yeah, we're turning the wood elves into paper elves. I don't think they've got much infantry left apart from just the last few that are coming in. And it's just the single entities that are fairly strong that are keeping them from losing the battle right now. But it doesn't really matter that much whether or not we kill them. They're not going to land. So checking the tree man again. Oh, well, 688 health. Yeah, you almost took out 10% of his health. So you need to do 1,500 damage to do 10%. And that's, you know, not including whatever's in the regen, so there'd be an extra 75% on top of that. But, you know, Taurox does not have 2 million effective health. So at 90% ward save, you just, like, multiply his health by 10, so... he'd probably have about 25,000 health. So multiply that by about 10. Look at about 250,000 effective health. So not even close to what Zhao Ming had. That means that we didn't have exactly 90% ward save. But yeah, that was not difficult, nor was I expecting it to be. But going up against the Wood Elves, these are some of the toughest opponents you could go up against. And I didn't have to do anything, really. It's just super bloody strong. And the thing is, I've said this so many times before, most factions in the game picking up the Sword of Cain is kind of a bad idea. But the Beastman has the best opportunity for the Sword of Cain because all of the penalties that are applied with the Sword of Cain, it just doesn't matter. They don't have public order, they don't have upkeep cost on their armies, and like who cares if everyone hates you a little bit more? When everyone by default hates you minus 100. Adding an extra 100, whatever, isn't going to do anything. I think that's 40, though, for the Sword of Cain dominating. I can't remember. But yep, absolutely smashed him. So, 4,618 kills in 15 minutes. Man, look at that pile of dead elves. Well, if nothing else, we've made Zerkovich happy today. I know he hates elves. So there we go. But yeah, in terms of rating this is 10 out of 10. And the thing is, getting the Sword of Cain and all of these items, it doesn't negatively impact your army or your faction. So, in many ways, Taurox the Brass Bull is in some ways better than Zhao Ming. Because Zhao Ming picking up the Sword of Cain negatively impacts his entire faction. Now, of course, in that particular campaign, it didn't matter at that point. But you take some of these things into consideration. Like, obviously, Xiao Ming is the strongest one-man Doomstack, but this is probably like the most practical one-man Doomstack in the game. Like, if you're playing as the Slaughterhorn tribe, or really as any of the Beastmen, like, you should try to do this, basically, because it's so good. And another thing as well, to take into consideration, is that while Xiao Ming might technically be stronger, he's so strong that they're not even going to come close to killing him. But no amount of how strong Xiao Ming is can compete with how much killing power that Taurox can have in a single turn, because he can just keep resetting his movement over and over again. That's something that Xiao Ming will not be able to do. So in some ways, he's a better one-man Doomstack. In terms of just overall destruction, Xiao Ming can't compete with him. But in terms of being able to endure more, then Xiao Ming is better. So it just depends on what you personally prefer in your particular campaigns. But yeah, this looks like an absolutely perfected one-man Doomstack. Again, he doesn't have the physical resistance traits, which those used to be essential for getting the one-man Doomstack submissions. But I don't even care anymore about it, because you can get ward save up to at least near 90%. And then we were going up against tree men there, which just strip away the physical resistance. Sorry, no, they've got magical attacks, and they strip away our magical attacks. So having that extra physical resistance just doesn't really make much of a difference in that case, at least against some wood elves. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.